All right. Okay, so you join the company and they have an existing approach and they have an existing pattern in their code base, which was probably left off by the previous developer, and then
Yes.
you acknowledge or you've identified that this approach and these patterns are not efficient, and you're
Yeah.
trying to improve them, but your manager or supervisor is not willing to accept, your efficient approach, right? So this is
Yeah.
it's common in some companies, and while you could blame the manager for not seeing that this existing approach is having a flaw, right? Um,
Yeah.
but you can't really put all the blame on the manager because these are also individuals who have a lot more to do outside of supervising engineering work,
Yeah.
right? And now this is a case of um, approaching. This is a place of having the understanding of a 10x engineer. And now, what that means is you need to be philosophical, right?
Hmm.
So now,
Okay.
to explain further, what it means is um, you want to get your manager or the people you're working with to align with you, to agree with your opinion. Now, you believe your opinion is the best or is more efficient, but they would not just accept it. Think of it like politics. They don't just accept in a democracy environment. They don't just accept, hey, this person will be the president. You have to buy the vote of a lot of people. So think of buying the vote of some other persons within you. Let's say you're the mobile developer. Let's say there's a back end engineer in your team, or there's a front end engineer in your team. You could hop on a call with them, explain things with them, and say, "Hey, this thing it's so messy. It takes you more time to work on, but you could dedicate time to make the code base more efficient and all. Try to show them areas where you kind of like see flaws in the code base and let them believe what you're saying. Now, the next time you're not approaching your manager, you're not approaching it as a one man, you're not approaching it as a team. You and your colleagues have finally accepted the fact that, oh, this code base is messy. It's not going to get the job done. And you're not just telling your manager, oh, you want to make this code base efficient or you want to fix things with a better approach, but you're doing it um, also mentioning the impact of what that will cause. For instance, if you say, oh, if we fix this approach, if we revamp this code base based on what you want to do, it's going to make deployment faster. It's going to make integrating new features faster. So you could say, oh, currently, if we want to add XYZ feature, it might take us 7 days. But after this has been improved, it could take us 2 days or less. So that way, you're helping the manager see the impact of what you're about to do, right? That's like one side of the coin. Now on the other side, um when you join a company, if they have an existing approach or they have a legacy code or an existing code base, right? Even if you have a better approach, right,
Yeah.
you have to pen your approach and align with the approach that the company is currently using. right? Now, that period of time you're aligning with the approach they are using, you're also working on the other side I just mentioned. So what that means is you don't just come to them, hey, your approach is wrong. Let's fix it. Things are going bad, right? But then you stick to what they have, and you work on buying other people to believe in your approach. Then you can then introduce your approach. Now you're bringing in your approach as a suggestion. You're not trying to you don't try to impose your approach. You bring it as a
Okay.
suggestion. Now the suggestion, the weight of the suggestion now will be based on the impact. Just like I mentioned, oh, this is going to help deployment faster, this is going to help adding new features faster. You're making it as a suggestion, right? Now it might not be accepted the first time you present it, it might not the second time. You keep bringing it up with like putting it in a better way, making the impact to look heavier. Oh, if we don't do this, this is going to happen. If we do this, this is going to happen. You get, so it's more on the presentation. So the key thing here is you don't impose your approach on a company, but you rather present it as a suggestion, and you back your suggestions with the impact, that's like the positive impact the suggestion is going to have if it is being accepted. For some companies, if you try to impose, you get fired. What that means is you are not um you're not what's the word, you're not follow kind of like you're not following leadership, or you want to do things your own way. Some organizations will fire an employee like that, but you want to align with their way and then present your own as a suggestion, then back your suggestions with impact. So think of
Yeah.
buying other people who you're working with to accept your suggestion first. Once they accept your suggestion, they agree with you, then you now take that alongside with them and present it to your manager.
Okay. Okay. That works.
Because oftentimes, as developers, you have innovative ideas. You want to see the impact of what you're doing. You want to feel, oh, I brought in this new approach. I brought in this idea and it was implemented, and so on and so forth. But you also need to understand that it has to be done the right way. In as much as you have these ideas, it does not guarantee that they will be implemented. So you
Yeah.
just have to be logical, to approach it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. Okay. This city is the person I'll meet then. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But how do I help myself with staying afloat with what is going on, like learning? Because if I jump off this call now, I have to meet and have another meeting, do this one. This is what I did almost throughout the whole day. And sometimes I'm forced to shoot out of work time to meet up with certain tasks and life. So because me, I want to totally leave, seeing how this whole thing is telling on me. But even if I have to stay for now because of I have other things to meet, needs to meet, what's your suggestion about how to like keep learning?
Okay. So what I would say to that is you will have to double down on what you're currently doing. That's one. And
Okay.
the reason for that is because the pace of technological advancement is really high. Like technologically, the way things are changing is not the way it's not the same pace it was changing 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Like 10, 15 years ago, um if a new technology is introduced, it takes a while before the next one is being introduced. But right now, like you get them in batches. You don't get one and then you wait for like 1 year, you get another one. They just come in a batch, right? And so that means you have to double down on what you're currently doing. Now, the implication there is if you don't, someone else is willing to, right? So if you don't do it, someone else is willing to, and they will definitely take the opportunities that are available. So you can't say, "Oh, this opportunity is was for me." The person who is ready will definitely take that opportunity. So the first thing is you have to double down on what you're currently doing, and the second thing is um, your presentation and um, yeah, your presentation. That's more on how you present yourself. So the doubling down also includes, of course, learning, going deeper into you talk about Flutter, going deeper into Flutter. You look at what are other frameworks that are related to Flutter that you can adopt, because I always say you shouldn't be a framework developer, but you should be a software developer. So you don't want
Yeah.
to call yourself a Flutter developer. So what happens if someone wants to hire you as a native Android? What happens if someone wants to hire you as an iOS developer? Okay, so look at look at some of these other areas. Oh, how can I um, incorporate native mobile development, into what I into what I already have. So that's like doubling down, right? You look at learning Jetpack Compose, you look at learning Kotlin, look at moving into Swift, to balance up what you already have, right? So, and that
Yeah.
is definitely going to be tasking based on the position you say you're currently in. But that's like the requirement.
Yeah.
That's like the requirement, because I believe a lot of persons too are in different positions, but that's the standard that has been set out to meet certain goals or achievements. So while you're doing that, you also want to present yourself, and um, an act you do to attract opportunities. You don't want to be silent. You could know a lot. You could be able to detect, oh, this code base is spaghetti. I have a better approach. But if nobody knows you, you're not going anywhere, right? So you want to look
Yeah.
at ways on how you can present yourself. And presenting yourself, I always say it's not just by being identified. It's not just by being identified. It's more of having a voice. Being identified, for instance, you attend a conference or an event. You attend an event and you're being identified as an attendant of that event. You take pictures, share it on LinkedIn. Oh, I attended this event and it was insightful, blah, 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 and so on. Now that's you being identified. Now, having a voice will now mean you were one of the speakers of that event. There are two different things. One, you attended and you identified. The other one, you were a speaker, which means you are being seen as an authority in that field, right? So that also
Yeah.
plays like in your presentation. So present yourself as an authority in your field. So you could use some AI tools to help. For instance, you could go to GPT and say, how can I present myself as a 10x Flutter developer? What are some of the things I should be saying? What are some of the things I should be posting on the internet? It's most likely going to give you options.
Yeah.
For instance, I tell Flutter devs like one of the most difficult um, and most challenging aspect of mobile development with Flutter is state and lifecycle management. So if you appear to be someone that understands it very well and you pick it up as a topic you want to champion and you talk about it very well, then you will be seen as an authority because that is the core aspect of Flutter because um, the UIs are declarative. The UIs are being framed from a state. You use data to formulate the UI. So the data now plays a huge role in the whole framework, and not just the data alone, but in line with the life cycle of different components within the application. So when you start um, positioning yourself or putting yourself as someone who understands this concept, you're talking about them. you know you craft out approach. Oh, this is the best way to use provider. Oh, did you know provider, the what happens under the hood with provider is like this. Oh, did you know you could use provider and get X seemingly without conflict. You start talking about some of these things. The more you keep doing them, people begin to see you as an authority in that field, in that space, right? And
Mm.
once you keep doing that, one thing most of these online platforms do is based on the algorithm, they identify um, authorities in different spaces. More of like they look at what you talk about or what you post about more often as compared to what you're doing. Say, for instance, you talk about state, life cycle, um, provider, concurrency, you talk about these things consistently, you realize that if someone goes on, let's say LinkedIn, for instance, and search for Flutter developers, the more you keep doing that, the more your profile begins to rank up. So you want to work on being not just visible, but also having a voice. Don't just be the conclusion. Don't just be a consumer, of other people's opinions. Create your own that other people can consume. That's like
Mm.
having a voice. Create your own opinions. Like you have an approach now you want to implement in your company. Okay, what's that opinion? Is it something other people can adopt? Then you talk about it. Let other people consume your thoughts, not just you consuming other people's own. Yeah.
Oh, no, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. I think I get the gist of this one you just finished saying. Ah, God. But I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
I noticed your socials, right? Maybe I noticed X the more. It's as if you just started coming out to speak. Like you've always been a quiet person or so.
Yeah, that's right. Um, I became active on X just this year. Not I think not up to 5 months.
Aha.
Not up to 5 months. And the reason is because you know you just get to a point where you know exactly like how you have planned out your career path. Like if you've planned out your career journey, you know what you should be doing at different points in time and what
Mhm.
are the requirements in each stage. For instance, there's a stage where And this is like something you will need to learn. There's a stage where you know, oh, at this stage I need to learn about management, how to manage people. There's a stage where you know, oh, I need to go deep into what I already know. You start studying Flutter SDK. You start going deep into libraries. You start creating your own libraries. That's like another stage. There's a stage where you feel like, oh, I think I've been able to know a lot of things. I have documented a lot of things. Now let me say it out. Then there's another stage where if you say, oh, um, I think I need to, come out in the public, let people know me. Now you you coming out in the public from the early beginning could be like an opportunity for you to grow. That's cool. But on another side, it could be a damage to your career in the sense that you are being seen without substance.
Yeah.
It depends on the individual. One will approach it as an opportunity to grow because it's going to expose them. The other one is going to see it as luxury and they will lack substance. So it's more of like knowing at different stages of your career what you need to move to the next phase. So for me, it's more of like coming out in the public, giving out my own opinions and stuff like that.
I get, I get that. I get that. Well done. I see your work online. I'm like, God, I want to be like this person.
Yeah, and it's really like it's a good way to look at it because I would say the same, for myself. Like when I started um Android development, there were a number of Googlers who were instructors for the course I used to take then. And I would always imagine, when am I going to start writing code like these guys? you know and that was actually the deal because you should at least have something or someone that should be a benchmark
Mhm.
to you. So it's like you can't just wake up in the morning and you just start walking. You should have a destination. When you've gotten to that destination, and then you set
Yeah.
out to you set yourself on another journey. You get. So if you look at, oh, you you like this person, you like how this person operates. Okay, how can I be like this person? The more you keep following what the person is doing, you keep learning in the same direction the person is going. Now you will get to that level the person has gotten to. But notice the person too will not remain there.
Yeah.
Now when you now
Yes.
get there, that person might not be the next person you're looking forward to. It might now be somebody else. You follow the
Makes
same
sense.
pattern, just like that.
Makes sense. I get that. Yeah. Okay. 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 Oh, wow. Let's come on. Please up.
Yeah. So
Thank you so
just
much.
in summary, just have someone you're looking forward to, and always be willing to approach the person with questions, doubt, and all of that. Like I do have a mentor, and I go to him every time I have a doubt or a question, and he responds every time. So I feel like I owe people that same um I owe people that same gratitude, you know, where if someone comes to me with a question or a doubt, I should respond to them as well because someone responded to me.
Any day.
So just
Okay, cool.
be open and like free to ask questions. It could be even if you feel like it's a dumb question, you ask, depending on the character and personality of the person. They might not see it as a dumb question, they'll see it as an actual question and give you their response to it. Like, I could go to my mentor sometimes and like, oh, I'm currently dating someone, but my girlfriend always complains about me not being available because I'm always working, blah blah, and stuff like that. And he'll tell you, oh, I was like you, and this is what I did and stuff like that. But you might be thinking, this is like a dumb question. It does not necessarily need to be all technical. Why? Because sometimes some personal aspect of your life can be the root cause of your technical disability. Now, technical disability, I mean you not being able to solve a bug or you not being able to come up with a solution to a technical problem. It might not necessarily be because you lack the understanding to do that. Sometimes it might come from some personal ish challenges you're having. For instance, let's say you have a girlfriend today and she says, oh, you don't have her time and all of that. Now because you love this person, you're not just going to shove it out like, no, 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 no. You're focused with work and all of that. No, that will still be it will still be in your head because the day you're not going to be occupied, you will need her around. So that will still be in your head. And it will definitely affect how you work.
Yeah,
So now being able to identify, oh, the cause of me not being able to solve this problem is because I'm having an issue with my girlfriend. Okay, how do I fix that issue so this other aspect of my life is going to be fixed as well?
okay. Me, I think in that case, you're my own mentor. Let me just stay down like that. So I was, yeah, indirectly telling me to be running to you with my questions, my doubts, and everything. And duly noted. I'll take that as an instruction.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Like it means a lot to me.
All right,
I think
man.
one other thing I would say before I drop off is,
Okay.
like I said, I'm looking for other opportunities, like other jobs. So one thing I want to do today is to, or today or this week, let me say this week, is to review my resume. Right, I want to forward it to you to help me look at things I can make adjustments to and the likes.
Okay, just a couple of tips I'll give you before you send. Ensure
Okay,
that for every
let me
job
write
you have
that down.
for every job you've done in the past, you outline the impact of the work you did in that job and quantify the impact with numbers. So take it again, you highlight the impact you did in that job and quantify that impact with numbers. For example, while I was working for this company, I helped them increase their app rating from 2 star to 5 star. That's a quantifiable impact. Don't just say, I help revamp the app or I help revamp the app UI. That's vague, but quantify
Okay.
it with numbers, right? Or you could say,
Yeah.
I work for this company and we launched the app. And with my understanding of app marketing, we were able to organically get 1,000 downloads in 30 days. That's quantifiable impact, right? And then,
Yeah.
secondly, you want to ensure that your career movement aligns. Now, what that means is if you've worked for 3 companies and you say you have 4 years experience, I want to see that your 4 years experience matches the 3 companies you've worked for. So if you say you spent 1 year in company A you spent 6 months in company B, you spent 6 months in company C. So where is the other 1 year? What happened in the other 1 year? You should be able to tell me what
Yeah.
happened. Or if I see you were working for company A, B, and C in the same year, that's also an issue. So that means if I hire you, you're going to be doing multiple other jobs and it's going to affect your efficiency. No company wants to see that. But if you highlight, oh, if company A, you were working on company A 2022, you got company B 2022, you got company C 2022, you're now doing it means you were doing three jobs at the same time. But then you can highlight on each of the jobs and say, hey, this one was a contract job, this one was a contract job. Now if the contract job extended, you can highlight it there, right? But you
Okay.
don't want to use the word extended. You can look for another word to use. Now if you say extended, you mean like extended to what period? You should be able to highlight it because employers will understand, oh, contract job means for a period of time. So that means if you get a full job, you can terminate your contract. So just make it clear to the recruiter that you're not someone who is going to be not stable, or not reliable because you're working on multiple other jobs. You want to state it in your CV. Oh, this one was a contract. This one was a contract. You highlight it there. Yeah.
Okay. I would use that to inform what I would do.
All right. All right, man.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm so grateful.
Okay.